Hello guys, welcome to Solving Solutions on our channel where I get solutions to all your solving problems. It's nice having you in class again today. How have you been? On today's tutorial, we are going to show you how to carry out spatial joins using QGIS. Now, we have recently done similar stuff on our GIS Pro. So, spatial joins are operations in GIS where you combine attributes from one spatial data set to another based on what their spatial relationship. So we have two data sets here, hotels and then the different state boundaries in Nigeria, right? Good. So we want to use QGIS to now join the hotels that are within a state and then states that contains what some hotels, right? Good. So now to achieve that, let's come to the processing toolbox and then we are going to use two tools. Let's start by saying join, right? Good. Now we have join attributes by location and then we also have join attributes by location with a summary, right? Good. Now this summary aspect gives you statistical summaries. However, this one gives you just the join, right? Good. Now let's start with the first one, which is join attributes by location. Now, sometimes on QGIS, when you open a tool, there is a brief description that you can just go through to help you understand what that particular tool does, right? So we are going to look at the hotels and then we are going to look at the different states. So when we come to the parameters to impute, under join to feature in, we are going to select what the hotels, right? Good. Now the geometric predicate, that's the relationship they are going to use to join, to maybe validate their join. We are going to say the hotels that are within what? The hotels that are within the state, right? Good. The hotels that are within the state. So those hotels, those different hotels in their own attribute table will now have the states that they fall in. Now there's something we can still do. We can open the attribute table of each of the spatial data set we have. So let's start with the hotels. If we open it up, you can see about 1, 2, 3, 4 fields, right? Good. The most important I want to say is the name and then the feature class, which we all know that they are hotels, right? Good. So you can see the names, right? So if you also come to the state boundary data set and then you open up the attribute table, you're also going to see what different fields, right? Good. So we also have the state name, maybe the length and then the area and all of that. Now when we are done with this join, those fields would increase because more will be attached to them based on what the spatial relationship between these two fields, right? Good. So the first one is the hotels that are within the state boundary. Now another thing to note is that the parameters are still there, to although they are optional. Now find fields to add. If you use this three dots, you are going to see different fields as we have seen on the attribute table, right? Good. So if you don't want to add some of the fields, perhaps you don't want your table to be congested, you can select those ones you want to add. But if you do not select any, they say leave empty to use all fields. So if you do not select any, QGIS will automatically use all the fields. But for us to have just the information we need, let's go with the state name, perhaps the feature ID, and then do we need the state code? I'm not sure. We don't need the area, we don't need the length. So if we just go with the feature ID and the state name, depending on what the user's specification or maybe the goal you want to achieve, right? Good. So we just click on OK. Then the join type, you can use a drop down. Are you creating a separate feature for each matching feature? That's one to many. Or you are taking attributes of the first matching feature. So let's go with this second option. Then we have the joined layer. That means when you want to save it, right? Good. So with this now, you have set up the parameter that is enough for you to join the hotels that are within the state boundary to the hotels layer. This simply means that the output, which is the joined layer, will take the geometry of the input. In this case, we are seeing this as what the input, right? Good. So whenever you are using the join attributes by maybe location or maybe the spatial joins, the input is always the geometry of the input determines the geometry of the output, right? Good. So we are expecting a point as the joint layer. So now let's run. So we have this as the joint layer. If we now come and open up the attribute table, which is this, we are going to see that the feature ID and the state name has been added to what the hotel's data set, right? Good. So you now see that for the different hotels, you see the states they fall in, right? Good. So now this is the output of the first tool. We can still come back to use the other join tool, which is what the join attribute by location, and then there's a summary to it. So if we open that up, we told you that this gives you opportunity to have statistical summaries, right? Good. So in this case now, our input will be what the state boundary, and then we are trying to find the different hotels that are contained in what in the state boundary. So we go with contain, right? Good. So remember that these predicates that we are selecting, they might not be constant depending on the data set you have and maybe the output you want to achieve. You can just try the different predicates to see which one best fits your output, right? Good. However, there are some general rules to follow, right? Good. So when you say contains, we are now trying to see the different hotels, which are these, that are contained what in the different states, right? Then when we come down to fields to summarize, so we still use these three dots, and then let's go with the name, and then perhaps the OSM ID. Click on OK. Then summaries to calculate. This is the distinction, right? Good. We use this three dots. So perhaps if you want to do count, if you want to do unique, if you want to do minimum, maximum, range, sum, depending on the different statistics that you want to calculate, you can actually select them from here, right? Good. So for the purpose of today's tutorial, we would try to leave all of them unchecked. Therefore, it will have to display or output the different statistical results. So if you have something in mind, maybe if you just want to count, if you just want to get unique values, minimum, maximum, you can just check them here so that the output would give you those selected values, right? So we are going to leave empty so that we would use what all the fields. So having fixed all of these parameters, we can run. So since our input in this case was a polygon, the output will definitely be what? A polygon, right? Good. So since the output is now a polygon, let's now see if we open the attribute table to this point, we are going to see that we now have the statistics, which is what? The count, the unique, the empty, the field, the minimum, maximum. So with this now, you now have an idea of the statistics of each of the different hotels as they fall in what in the states that they have the spatial relationship with, right? Good. Maybe how many hotels are in each state and all of that. Maybe what's the maximum, what's the minimum, and all of that. So this helps you to create that spatial relationship based on the predicate that you have set, right? Good. And then perhaps the statistics you also want to calculate, right? Good. So we believe we have shown you using QGIS how to use the join attributes by location and join attributes by location with a summary that gives you the statistical summaries of whatever joins that you have actually executed. So we hope we have provided solution to this particular surveying or GIS related problem. We are going to see you on the next tutorial. Ensure you keep staying safe and have a fantastic time. Bye.